Kevin Zeitler, one of the most solid guards in the NFL, made a move that has been shaking up the NFC North. He left the Detroit Lions and is now officially a member of the Minnesota Vikings. This move is one of those that will likely have a lasting impact on both the franchise that loses and the one that acquires him. With the Vikings looking to bolster their offensive line, especially to help keep Kirk Cousins protected, and the Lions trying to manage finances to continue growing, this transaction is shifting the expectations for both teams. The question now is, how will Zeitler's departure from the Lions affect the balance of the division and Detroit's future, while Minnesota looks to take a bigger step toward championship? Kevin Zeitler was a key piece for the Lions, establishing himself as a constant and reliable presence on the team's offensive line. During his time in Detroit, the 33-year-old guard helped create the necessary protection for Jared Goff to execute the passing game, and he was also essential in opening up lanes for the running game, something the Lions prioritize in their offensive philosophy. His consistency over the years, both as a pass blocker and in the running game, made him an almost indispensable figure for Detroit's offensive line stability. Therefore, losing Zeitler isn't something that can be minimized. He wasn't just an elite player but also a leader in the locker room, someone who could guide younger players and set a standard of excellence. However, as often happens in the NFL, finances speak louder. The Lions, who are clearly in win-now mode and preparing to solidify themselves as a dominant force in the NFC, needed to make cap adjustments in order to retain their key talent and still strengthen other areas of the team. With players like Aiden Hutchinson and other key names seeking new contract extensions, and the costs of maintaining the roster increasing, Detroit was forced to make the difficult decision to let Zeitler go. With his contract approaching a higher value, the team couldn't reach a financial agreement with the player, and as a result, he found himself seeking a new destination. Zeitler's arrival in Minnesota, on the other hand, makes perfect sense given what the franchise is trying to build. While the Vikings' offensive line has been one of their most criticized areas in recent years, adding Zeitler could be the first step in solidifying that unit and giving Kirk Cousins the protection he desperately needs to execute his game. The Vikings, who have offensive talent on paper but have struggled to keep Cousins safe in the pocket, now have one of the best guards in the league to provide the stability they've been seeking. Zeitler brings not only his technical ability to Minnesota, but also the experience accumulated over a career that includes successful stints with other teams like the Cleveland Browns and the New York Giants. For the Vikings, this move is more than just an attempt to improve a weakened offensive line. It's an effort to adjust the pieces in such a way that the team can succeed immediately. The Vikings, with Cousins at the helm and playmakers like Justin Jefferson and Dalvin Cook, have the offensive foundation to compete at a high level, but their offensive line has been a weak point preventing them from reaching their full potential. By securing Zeitler, the Vikings are signaling their commitment to a more balanced approach, where quarterback protection becomes a priority. This could mean a significant improvement not only in pass protection, but also in creating holes for the running game, which could further unlock the talents of Cook and Jefferson. In addition, Zeitler's arrival can bring intangible benefits to the Minnesota group. His experience and leadership are valuable qualities, especially on a team that needs stability on the offensive line. He's the type of player who can elevate the play of those around him, particularly younger players, teaching them what it takes to maintain consistency and discipline in the game. In a position where the margins for error are small, the presence of a veteran like Zeitler not only offers security for the quarterback but also instills confidence in the whole team. As Zeitler transitions to the Vikings, it's clear that his arrival could have an immediate impact not just on the offensive line but on the team's overall offensive efficiency. With his ability to create running lanes and provide steady pass protection, he gives the Vikings the stability they've lacked in recent seasons. This move is especially crucial for Kirk Cousins, who has often been under pressure due to a lackluster offensive line. Zeitler's expertise will allow Cousins more time to go through his progressions, which could significantly improve the team's passing game and give wide receiver Justin Jefferson even more opportunities to make plays. The Vikings' offensive scheme now has the potential to function at a higher level, with Zeitler anchoring the interior line. However, the Vikings' decision also puts the Lions in an uncomfortable position. Losing Zeitler, one of the cornerstones of their offensive line, creates a hole that now needs to be filled urgently. Detroit, which had seemingly found a solid foundation, now faces the challenge of replacing him. The franchise will need to explore other options to find a suitable replacement, whether through the draft or free agency. The challenge will be to find someone with the same level of experience and immediate impact, something that might not be easy to come by given the current cap situation in Detroit and the limited quality of available players. The impact of this on the NFC North also can't be ignored. While Zeitler's departure from the Lions doesn't drastically alter the expectations for Detroit, it does give the Vikings an advantage, especially considering the level of play that Zeitler brings to the team. Minnesota's offensive line now becomes stronger, and with that, the team may begin to be taken more seriously as a contender for division supremacy, especially in a season where the Packers are undergoing a significant transition after Aaron Rodgers' departure, and the Bears are still in the rebuilding phase. The Vikings now have an opportunity to make a major leap, and Zeitler's addition could be the missing piece that propels them to achieve that goal. In addition to his technical value, Zeitler also represents a psychological threat in the division. The move to strengthen an offensive line with a player of his caliber not only improves Minnesota's game, but also sends a clear message to their rivals. The Vikings are ready to compete on equal terms, and they're investing where it matters most. This type of decision can be a game changer in a division that is always tightly contested. Now, the big question remains, how will the Lions respond to this loss? The next few months will be crucial for Detroit's future. The team will need to find a player who not only fills the spot left by Zeitler, but also brings the same level of consistency and leadership. This will require a careful evaluation of all available options, whether through the draft, where the Lions have multiple first-round picks, or free agency. Detroit's immediate future could depend on how quickly this hole is filled, as an unstable offensive line could derail the team's overall development. Finally, as both teams look ahead, Zeitler's departure and arrival could spark a larger shift in the balance of power within the NFC North. The Vikings have consistently been a solid team, but their inability to protect Cousins has held them back from reaching their full potential. With the addition of Zeitler, Minnesota is now better equipped to challenge for the division title. On the other hand, the Lions, while still building, will need to fill the void left by Zeitler quickly if they want to maintain their upward trajectory. The NFC North is shaping up to be a more competitive division than ever, and with moves like this, both teams are positioning themselves for a crucial battle for supremacy in the years to come. At the end of the day, Kevin Zeitler represented much more than just a player on Detroit's offensive line. He was a symbol of stability on a team that was trying to rebuild. His move to the Vikings is a reminder of how unpredictable the NFL can be, and how changes within teams, no matter how small they seem, can have massive repercussions on competition and league balance. Minnesota now has a great opportunity to capitalize on this, while the Lions will need to adapt quickly in order to maintain their momentum and continue their journey to becoming a powerhouse in the NFC. And for Zeitler, this is just another chapter in a career that undoubtedly still has plenty to offer. If you enjoyed this video and want more content about the NFL's moves and the future of the Detroit Lions and Minnesota Vikings, be sure to follow our channel, Lions News Fan Report. Here, you'll find detailed analysis, the latest news, and everything happening in the world of NFL.